Hello everybody, and welcome to the first Switch Tour editorials. For those who didn't watch the Wii U Tour series, what I do in the editorials is I talk about something that really doesn't need any kind of tour. Like, I talk about subjects surrounding the Switch rather than just like showing you settings or showing you capabilities that outside of video games, or even like. And with this Switch series, I'm able to go through the history because unlike the Wii U, where I started the tours in the middle, here with the Switch, I get to start it even before it comes out. So I'm taking full advantage of that. So far, we went over the first trailer from, I think, November now. And then last week, we talked about the January presentation, which I don't count those as editorials because that's part of the console. That is the history of it. You know, I consider that part of the Wii U, of the Switch tour. I gotta get used to that because it's giving you a aspect of what people were feeling when they saw these reveals, and what people were thinking when they saw these reveals. You know, like these were perfectly relative points of the Switch, and it's not out yet, so I'm also kind of grasping straws. I guess that's obvious at this point. But here in the editorials, and I'll do a lot more. I'll probably talk about the Virtual Console as an editorial. Obviously, we'll go through the whatever they're going to. I'm sure they're still called the eShop, but obviously we'll go through the shop and I'll look at the Virtual Console and I'll show you what's available and where. I'll probably show you things like how to organize and ways in which you can purchase games, ways in which you can blah 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 blah. You know, all that stuff. Because the big purpose of the Wii U tours was it was an unpopular console. And for those who bought it, I wanted to encourage them to use the most out of it. And that's just the kind of guy I am. Whenever I have some new tech or technology, I like to really dig into it to find out every advantage or capability I can think of. You know, like right now, I bought a new tripod, and that's why I got this much better angle. And I'm actually using, I got a new smartwatch for Christmas, a very nice gift. And I found this capability of the camera where I don't have to constantly move the camera, go back to the camera if I don't like the shot, come back here when I don't like the shot. And and I'm using my smartphone right now. Much better option than the webcam, which I was using for years, and I complained about that camera for too long. So here we are, and I think it's gonna be great. I can't wait to. The editing process might be a little different, but I'll get used to it. The quality and the visuals here would be great. Now, I might do a couple more editorials before the console comes out, but I would honestly expect this, or if in the event this is the final video in the Switch Tours playlist before the Switch comes out, I would expect this is the last time you see me in this kind of visual style, like where it's me here. You know, you're probably from now on going to see footage I'm capturing from the Switch. You know, much like the Wii U Tours was. It was always captured from the Switch. I never did these vlog-style videos from it. But, you know, I spent a lot of time talking about explaining how this series works. I really should be talking about what I want to talk about with the editorial itself. Because here in these editorials, they're just side topics I wanted to show. And what I want to talk about is all of the capabilities of the Switch that isn't just being able to have a portable version of it, because that's the big purpose of the Switch. Even its name is derived from that idea. It's a console in which you can take it around with you. You have you can play it on the TV just like a regular old console, but you can actually take the actual console out of a dock and bring it with you. Really great idea. And again, I love how they're not pushing this as a console handheld hybrid. Everyone's calling it that anyway. But I like how Nintendo themselves aren't pushing it as that, because I wouldn't prefer that either. And that's why they also have been they made it very clear that the 3DS is here to stay for as long as its lifespan can handle, which is a good choice. And I made an article about this. I also claimed that the Wii U might also be getting releases, but that's not the case anymore. I was wrong on that point. But, you know, here we are with the Switch. Perfectly fine replacement, and the Wii U had its 4 years. I'm going to count it as 5, though, because the lifespan kind of bleeds into 2017, and I'm sure that's why Nintendo, other than delaying Breath of the Wild, made that choice. But I just want to take time to talk about some underappreciated other aspects to the Switch. In fact, ones that people are wondering why Nintendo are making them so important. The big two areas here are the Joy-Con controllers and the HD Rumble. Those are the big two that I want to talk about. And while, yes, I said I'm not going to talk about the portable mode, as they're calling it, of the Switch, I do want to stress that I'll be talking about things related to the idea of using the portable mode. Like one thing I'm looking forward to, I'll start with that. One thing I'm looking forward to when it was the portable mode is I'm looking forward to bringing it over a friend's house, having them see it for themselves, not lugging an entire console with a bunch of cables around. Like really, I don't even need to bring the AC adapter. It'll take a while to charge. I'll probably even have a charger on me too. It'll be a smaller wire, and that's fantastic. I'm really excited about that because like I have a friend who wants to get it for Christmas, and we were talking about this, and I said, hey, look, you know what? Whatever, I'll go over your house and I'll bring it. It's not a struggle anymore. That's an obvious one, and maybe that is related to the portable mode. But the way I see it is portable mode is just by having long car rides, long plane rides, and even when you just want to be in a park or a school, you're not going to be home for a while, but you still want that console experience. You might be in a hotel on vacation with your family, that kind of thing. But there's so many more aspects of it people are not seeing, like that ability to share your love for this console if that is the case. Because I'm not going to pretend that this is going to be the greatest thing ever. I'm not going to pretend this is going to be the worst thing ever. Like I said this when the Wii U was coming out. I hate those. This is why this is going to suck videos. I can't stand those. But bottom line here is when it comes to the portability of the Switch, there's more aspects to it than just having your console wherever you go. One thing that really I loved it was the multiplayer capabilities of this. And, if there's one thing I didn't like about the Wii U was how they handled split screen. Split screen was non-existent. There's a few games that did it if there's more than two players, blah, 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 but I hated having the idea of having one person look at the gamepad and one person look at the TV. There's this clear disadvantage, and on top of that, it was like, obviously, if it's like a game where we're fighting each other, I have to find the map. I'm gonna take the gamepad because I'm gonna look at the TV to cheat. That's just how it is. And they can say, "Oh, go over there all you want." It's still, like playing Mario Kart 8 was a nightmare when it comes to that. And thank God there was split screen in that game. Even another talk for another day. But now we have this ability where two screens can face each other and connect locally, or even 8 players can play Splatoon. Like if there's one thing I like is online multiplayer in Splatoon was great. It was fantastic. I loved it. But playing multiplayer local multiplayer was kind of annoying because the dojo was lame. I really think it was lame. Like you can make fun with it. Like you can do hide and seek or whatever. The fans have made fan-made versions of the game. Or you can play online. You can play with a friend on your own team or against each other. You can choose that. But now we have this ability to really set up matches, set up tournaments, set up this and that. I can't wait to see if they are making a port. Well, I think that's pretty much confirmed. But if they are making a port of Smash Bros. To Switch, I can't wait to see what they do with that kind of thing because they can do a similar thing. And it will really make tournaments and fighting games on the Switch very cool. Like especially if you do professional ones. It'll just be awesome. This idea of having your own screen when you're playing multiplayer with someone else. Like if I have a friend over my house, he has a Switch. He brought it over. I'm not going to use the TV. We'll have the TV off. I'll just use my screen so we have an equal playing field, and I think that'll be awesome. And there's so many things that I can't wait to show you guys. Actually, now that I think about it, I kind of might want to take back what I said about this being the last vlog-style video because I might want to show off the multiplayer and these kind of things. And I probably will. I'll probably have a friend over or whatever, and we could just play, I'll show how the local connection works, and I'll show how this works. Unfortunately, I won't be able to record off of the Switch if it's not docked, so that's where this will come in. So I guess take back what I said before. But moving on from there, I do want to take a note of the HD Rumble. That was a big thing what inspired me to do this first editorial. I thought my first editorial would be long after the Switch came out, like it was for the Wii U. Like I talked about indie games on the Wii U, and I talked about the DLC on the Wii U. how Nintendo was handling these kind of things. Like one editorial I know will probably exist is how they're handling online and how they're handling with the smartphone app, which I'm also going to talk about in this video. But the HD Rumble is a great idea. Like, especially for the use of the Joy-Cons. Like, I remember a long time ago, I was saying, like, one thing I like about the Wii, going back now, is I liked having the controller in two separate hands. This mobility, this freedom. I'm not confined to this spot, which nothing wrong with traditional controllers. I used my classic controller a lot more than the Wiimote Nunchuck. And when I had the GameCube option, I used the GameCube controller, but there was still a joy to use, like especially when I'm playing games like Mario Galaxy, where I have the pointer, or Skyward Sword. And, that's what's great about having unique controllers. And what's great about the Switch is they're really pushing the unique control idea to a new level with the Joy-Cons. Now, I didn't play the Switch at all. I cannot vouch for anything, but, they look fine. At least from what I see. I think people are just being a little too overdramatic about it, because we had to deal with a lot worse when it comes to controllers, especially before my time. Like, I can't speak for me, but I played some horrible controllers from like the 70s and the 80s. But that being said, all about the Rumble Pack in general. Like, Rumble Packs were just rumbling. It was great, because what made rumbling so awesome was you felt an impact. Like, you really felt that you were able to work on your reflexes and your skills in games. Like, you can have like examples like shooting games where you feel the rumble from the gun. When it might give you a better reaction time when you realize you're out of bullets or ammo. Maybe in Star Fox, another great example, space shooters, where you feel your crashes and you can feel when you get hit. It's a way to help you focus. There's little games like Animal Crossing, where when you fish, well, only the console ones, where you fish, the rumble is dependent on when you pull out the fishing rod. It was a brilliant idea. And now we're really going to a new level with it, and I'm really surprised not more people are excited about this. It was cool. Like, it seems like when people hear things on Nintendo, the first thing they hear is, oh, that's gimmicky. But, that's just an excuse to not think about the capabilities. And that's what happened with the Wii U. Oh, that gamepad's gimmicky. Well, no. Unfortunately, we never had someone really flesh out some amazing ideas. Amazing things came out of the gamepad, but never again are we going to experience that ever again, because everyone called it a gimmick. Thankfully, the Wii was so popular, because if it wasn't, we would never see motion control again. I wouldn't be talking about the Joy-Cons right now. But what makes the HD Rumble special is what you can do with it. The potential of gameplay is incredible. Like, I was looking at, what really inspired me to talk about this was the 1-2 Switch video I was watching, where, you can feel what you're doing in the game, like drawing a sword, maybe. That was, like, something I came up with. I was like, oh, wouldn't that be cool if I was playing Breath of the Wild, and, like, there was, like, a motion, like a Skyward Sword mode, where there's moments where I can just draw my sword and everything. That would be really cool. And I can feel the sword coming out of the scabbard, or, people are describing that cow milking game where you can feel like you're milking a cow, or maybe you can feel like you're shooting ammunition from the draw game or something of that nature. And, what you can do with that would be really cool. I'd be really looking forward to seeing that. Maybe, like, even if you're not using the Joy-Con mode where you have two in each hand, like, I can imagine arms, that would feel awesome. You can feel the punch, you can feel your arms going forward. I can't wait. Actually, at first I wasn't into arms, but the more I thought about it and the more I saw the footage, the more I thought that looks cool. Like, the whole idea of a video game, like, everyone's talking about virtual reality with the helmet, and that's really cool. I'm not discrediting that. I don't want you to think I'm discrediting that, because I'm not. But now we have this real, like, idea of what virtual reality is, where you're just using motion, and I can't wait to see what kind of community that would build. But that being said, we have this capability now of really feeling immersed in a game, but also really feeling like we feel every step, every touch, Like, obviously we're never going to feel the texture of something, but at least we'll know something's rough or something's smooth or something. Like, maybe in platformer games, how you have to make it really obvious what walls you can climb and what walls you can't. Maybe with HD Rumble, you can just make it all look the same, but you have to feel the wall first and find out where you can climb. It's a shame. I said this in the past. It's a shame how with the cost of making games now, it really limits developers' abilities to be creative, and that's what the indie game scene became so popular. That's why it became so popular, because there was just this scene of this lack of creativity dying and dying. Thankfully, Nintendo was here to do what they always do, but the Wii U didn't have a big install base, so that was kind of unnoticed. So it made this huge rise in indie gaming. And now that's becoming part of the mainstream games, and it's inspiring AAA titles, investors to just let them do what they do. It's going to make future generations very exciting if this cycle continues in the direction it's going. When I mean, like, maybe cycle is not a good word, by the direction, whatever. But yeah, I mean, the Mumble's cool. I think it can really benefit like games where you have to balance things, and I'm talking a lot about party games maybe, but it can be incorporated. And if the Switch does what it does, over 80 third party developer games are being developed for this, so I can't wait to see what they're going to come up with. But moving on to the final part about the online service. A lot of people were talking to me about this. A lot of my friends and I were talking about this. I'm perfectly okay, personally, with paying for online for Nintendo. I've never done that before. I have a PS3, but I've never gotten PlayStation Plus. I mean, it's cool you get a free game, but whatever. But from what I heard, Nintendo's being secretive about it. But I've been reading a lot of emails I get from news sources, and I've been watching a lot of interviews, and from the sound of it, it looks like they're trying to make something unique when you pay for the subscription. I don't know if they're gonna make free versions of servers. Somehow I doubt that. But at the same time, I can imagine, like Nintendo said right off the bat, you will get a free game as long as you're subscribed. Like they said something about maybe virtual consoles games being free. I don't know how I feel about that because, I mean, for me, I'm all about memory, and Nintendo consoles are limited in memory. Even today, the Switch is only 32 gigs. Granted, which I'm definitely doing, and I definitely suggest you people do it too. I'm definitely going to get, because what I read is, I forgot what type of SD card it was, but it's compatible with up to 2 terabytes, so got to take advantage of that. And people have to remember the difference is, Nintendo doesn't partially download their games in the console. The one exception ever that I know of is Xenoblade Chronicles X, but it was an option and a free DLC download. Because like that way it downloads parts of the games, so it's faster to load. That's something that the PlayStation does, and that's something Xbox does. And PlayStation is notorious for that, because I've had this trouble too, where eventually you have to erase files in memory and whatnot so you can play a new game, just to play a new game. And you gotta constantly deinstall and reinstall, and it's just annoying. And less memory means price is lower, so what are you gonna do? I do think it's kind of lame that Nintendo does, like, I do share that opinion with people, because that's a big complaint. Nintendo does seem to want you to pay outside of it, but it welcomes third-party sports. It's just a debate not worth fighting about, but frankly, I'm okay with it. I really am. It's okay to pay for it. I know they're giving me cool benefits, I'm sure, but going above that, apparently you get this online hub, and a lot of it's going to work through a smartphone app that allow you to have your friends come together. That was something I always wanted to see in online play, where you can make your room before you start a game, and it's not constant waiting for other people to get together. You can just get together, where you can set up your room. You have this. I imagine the lobby's gonna look something like what Mario Kart 8 did or Splatoon did, where you're just waiting in a room and people come in. Maybe a little more animated like Mario Kart 8, and your Mii's are just saying, "Hey, what's up?" You can talk on the cell phone. And a lot of people didn't like that idea, but when you think about it, and this is what I got from Reggie, he actually said this in one of the interviews I was watching. He was saying, like, it's a console we want people, we're going to encourage people to move around with. So, obviously, using your phone, you'll always have your phone with you, and it's external hardware that won't take up the battery of the Switch. And at the same time, it's a way you can always have. Like, you can set up a Bluetooth connection to headphones and a microphone and everything, and I'm sure they'll sell that. I'll probably have use for my old Wii U headset I bought that I only used for LPs and I never actually ended up using for for actual online gaming, because I'm not much of an online gamer. I do enjoy it playing with my friends, and games like Splatoon are definitely an exception because it was an online game. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this idea. I was kind of bummed out at first, the idea of having to use your smartphone's devices for game chat, because I think they could have done something with the console. But then I realized that, you know what? I'm just thinking about the concept of using a TV, and I wouldn't mind just leaving my phone right here to talk to people, or I can just connect it to a headset. And I'm sure Nintendo will sell one for a pretty good price, maybe $20 or something, like they did with the Wii U. I probably can even use the Wii U one. My phone still has a headphone jack, but it is a cool idea to have a smartphone app communicate with a console that is meant to have a portable mode that is not confined to one space, and that's what I think is important to talk about. But I've been going on for a while. This is probably the longest editorial over here, maybe. Who knows? It depends on the topic. But I just want to talk about some underappreciated things that Nintendo is pushing that even they swept under the rug. Like, even in the presentation, they did not play it up as much as they should. I understood they wanted to get to the games, but that presentation had been 2 hours instead of an hour, or at least an hour and a half, if they wanted to do it that way. But, you know, we might come back for another tutorial like this, or you'll probably have to wait for me till March, but it's a long month. I'll probably do another video for Switch Tours. I'm actually really excited about the Switch Tours. That's why I keep doing this. It's definitely going to be a series that I want to keep up with. The Wii U Tour is actually the easiest series to keep up with on my channel, because it was very quick and simple, but, you know, whatever. That's that, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you for the next tour.